Okay, 8th grade 4-2, linear associations. Set that aside. So we're looking at example 1 here. It says, Georgia and her classmates are measuring their height and their arm span. And this is something we're going to do in this class here when I'm done with the lesson. You guys are all up and I'm going to measure your height and your arm span, how long your arm is. I've got a nice ruler, not a ruler, a yardstick for that, okay? And so student 1 through 11, of course, we've got a lot more to do. And that's why I ask you guys to get a piece of scratch paper, because you're going to keep track of everybody's height and arm span. And you don't have to put their names down, but you can just put down student 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the length of their arms and their height together, because that's going to be two data points. And so, for example, student 1 here has a height of 66 inches and an arm span of 64. And so you're all going to get some graph paper too, and you're going to put the arm span along the y value and the height along the x value. Now, here's something I want you to understand. When you guys create your own graphs and whatever data we're using in your x and y values, the increments are really up to you. If you look at this one here, it goes from 58, so this would be 59 and this would be 60. So basically each line is 1 inch. And if you look over here, it starts at, looks like 56, 57, 58. So again, each line is 1 inch. Somebody else might do a graph, and it's up to you guys, where each line is, it's going to be 2 inches. So maybe if this was 56, this would be 58, this would be 60, 62, 64. It's up to you. There's really no right or wrong way to do that. I mean, if the increments are too large, then it's going to be hard to read your graph. So, and notice they both start at 56. You guys may start, and I don't know if this data is going to be comparable to your arm lengths. I don't know if this is a high school or 4th grade, whatever. We're going to find out here in a minute. So as we write down the data points for arm length and height, be thinking about where you want to start, okay? And then how far or how much you want each line increment to be. It may be just 1 inch, or maybe you're going to decide, I think it'd be better if it was 2 inches. So they plotted the points here, you can see it, and they used a pencil to find a trend line. And basically, a trend line, as they say it here, many of the points are the same distance from the trend line. In some graphs, it's easy to draw a trend line, especially if there's a really close association and the points are close together. But basically, your trend line should go through the data points and be as close as possible to all the points on the graph. And so that's what they did here. Just so happens the line goes through just 1 point, but that's a rough trend line of all the points. For our purposes are kind of subjective. I could give you guys all graphs with data points and say draw a trend line. And some of your trend lines may look a little different, and that's okay. The try it down below here, it says Georgia and her classmates also measured their foot length. Use a pencil to find the trend line. Sketch the trend line for the scatter plot. Now notice the fact that we went from an arm to a foot, that changes the y values here. Up above, they started at 56, 58, 60, 62. Here, they're starting at 6 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches, 9 inches, 10 inches, 11 inches. And this was just an example I was talking about last year. So I want you to draw what you think would be a trend line for the blue data points here. Number 2, strength of linear associations. And as I explained earlier, here's a trend line. There's obviously a strong association between what do we have here, the number of people at a beach and the temperature. Well, a lot more people are going to go to the beach if it's nice and warm and sunny. And if it's maybe overcast and windy and cloudy, not so much of an association. Example 3 here says there's a scatter plot. They're talking about this one here. Show a linear or nonlinear association. And then it says the points in the scatter plot form a curve, so the scatter plot shows a nonlinear association between the data points. So whenever your data points are curved, whether they go up and down or down and up, it's a nonlinear association. Now, I would say this is a fairly strong association. Even though it's nonlinear, it could be strong or a weak association. And then try it. I showed you guys this earlier. So you've got 3 graphs here, and one choice would be no association. Number 2, a strong association. And again, the strong association could be positive or negative. And then the 3 is a nonlinear association, which means they don't all fall on a line. All right, circle number 1, I want you guys to do that. And I just kind of underlined what they have in the key concept right here. You can assess the strength of an association by looking at the distance of plotted points from the trend line. So that would be your answer to number 1 as far as I'm concerned. 2 and 3 I already showed you. It says, how does the trend line describe the strength of the association? It shows the distance the points have from the trend line. The greater the distance, the weaker the association between the data points. And number 3, how does the scatter plot of a nonlinear association differ from that of a linear association? And it may show a pattern, but it will not be a straight line. Circle 4 and 5, I want you guys to do those. 6, I already showed you that. We've got 4 lines to choose from. You need to answer this question. 7, I mean, some of these are really easy. I'm looking at number 7 here. It says, does the scatter plot show a positive, negative, or no association? Miss LaGarbo is not here. Miss Turner. So for number 7, this is the graph we're looking at. Does that scatter plot show a positive, negative, or no association? Yeah, positive association. Would you say that's a strong association? Yeah, I think so too. All right. Number 8, I already showed you that. You need to label these correctly. 9 and 10, circle those. Number 10, it says describe the relationship between the data in the scatter plot. Okay, we have no idea what this y value represents or the x value. They don't tell us. But it says describe the relationship between the data and the scatter plots. Well, first off, my question is, Ms. Boulay, is that a linear or nonlinear association? For number 10.
Linear?
No, this would be nonlinear because it's curved. It's curved, so that would be a nonlinear association. Another question we could ask ourselves, is it a strong association? Or actually, let me ask this, is it a positive or a negative association? Ms. Boulay, what do you think? Yeah, that would be obviously a positive association. And then you could even answer if it's a strong or a weak association. And then number 11, I want you to do A and B. And then number 12, circle that. And then 13 and 14. It says select all that apply, so there may be more than one. All right? Questions on this, anybody? Okay, so hopefully everybody has some scratch paper, because we're going to start measuring some arm lengths. And we could do, if you guys wanted, we could do, I'll ask, in fact, let me just end this.